Welcome back. The European Union has released £138 million for humanitarian and development funding for Nigeria and other Lake Chad Basin countries, as well as Cameroon. The development assistance announced will go to the 4 countries in the region. Nigeria will get £74.5 million, Niger £32.2 million, Chad £33.2 million, and Cameroon will have £2.7 million for a combined amount of £143 million. For more on these, we have with us in the studio public affairs analyst Emmanuel Okonkwo. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's important to note that between 2014 and 2017, the EU has provided close to £700 million in humanitarian aid as well as developmental assistance to this region.
Yes.
What exactly is the impact you see this particular aid having?
Well, if it goes the way of the other money that's been sent, then I'm not optimistic at all. I blame the European Union. When you send this money down here, I'm not quite sure that you should spend money monitoring how the money you sent is being used. And so the Lake Chad Basin has had all kinds of impacts. We've had the drying up of that basin. We've had insurgency. And so I've seen them saying they're sending money for humanitarian activities, but they should actually concentrate on regenerating that area. A lot of these people there used to be fishermen. Now the basin's dried up, so they can't even fish anymore. So it's one thing to send this money out there. Is another thing to actually make sure that you have goals, that make sure that this money is used for what it is supposed to be used for. Yes,
you're absolutely. That's what I wanted to ask. Ensuring that the funds are properly utilized. But over the years, just as he mentioned,
yes,
we have had, these aids, coming to Africa,
absolutely,
until this moment. Why does it seem like we are not able to properly utilize these funds?
Well, because I'm not quite sure that there is that the Europeans spend time and energy doing a proper audit. But do you need to be audited first before you know the right thing to do? Oh no, you don't. But that's the reality is that if you make further receiving of money based on what's happened with what you got before. So I'm not going to send you money until we have audited what you've done with the previous money. Then it then doesn't matter what we do here. We know that we're not going to get money unless we show what we have done with the money. And if we can't show what we have done with the money, then nobody should be sending money. And I think my view, my opinion is that, oh yes, send money, but can you put proper auditing procedures in place, because you might just be sending this money to people who would just use it to enrich themselves. The reason why I'm saying this is that Lake Chad, Bronu, Adamawa has been a gateway into dangerous travels across the Sahara, and until you start giving these young people alternatives. So they used to be fishermen. They can't fish anymore. Lake Chad is drying up. And Lake Chad didn't dry up in one day. Lake Chad's been drying up over the last 30 years. So we've had warnings for 30 years and nobody's done anything. So if Lake Chad started drying up and you're thinking proactively, you should be thinking, okay, well, if this is happening, our people will no longer fish. What are we going to start doing for them? So that's the first.
As alternative.
As an alternative. The second thing is, yes, humanitarian money is a good thing, but that's a short-term thing. What needs to happen is, yes, they need to eat today, but how do we equip them? How do we sustain them? And so they're going to go in there and gather people, teach them English, and say, hey, we've graduated 40 people and they know how to speak English. That's not what they need. You need to get into or design an enterprise-based educational system. So you're not just producing unemployed people. You are producing people who have skills, who may not go back into fishing, but you've equipped them to go back into farming or do something else.
You know what, Emmanuel, the situation in the Lake Chad Basin is pathetic, for the want of better words. Over 2.4 million people forcibly displaced, including 1.2 million children.
Yes.
There are around 3.6 million people who are in dire need of emergency food and assistance and all of that.
Yes.
The question really is, you also recall that it is in this same region that the federal government has spent some huge amount of money to get petrol and all of that.
Yes.
Is it about getting funds and assistance? Some are saying that we really, as a continent and as a country, has the political, will to cause changes in this area.
Oh yeah, we do. But are we going to do it? We have Lake Chad borders Borno more than any other place. So what's going on in Borno State? And also these are our people. The Europeans are sending money to us, but the people there are our people. There must be something in us to look after our own people.
And the bulk of the responsibility should lie with us.
Yeah, it's us. It should be. And even if they don't send us money, those guys in Borno are our people, and we have a government. I understand the insurgency, Boko Haram, and all of that, but that's not an excuse for letting that tragedy get to this point.
Well, Nigeria will get 74.5 million pounds out of the lot.
That's no joke.
Absolutely. And I listened to the president of Ghana, Akufo-Addo, not too long ago, when I had a meeting with Emmanuel Macron, and then he was saying, look, I want to build a Ghana that is independent of AIDS, from the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
Isn't that the direction that Africans in Africa in general should be heading?
I think it is, and it would be nice to hear that kind of rhetoric coming from Nigeria. Ghana is little. With no disrespect to my Ghanaian brothers, this is that kind of rhetoric shouldn't really be coming from Ghana. It should be coming from us with the oil we have, with all that we have in Nigeria, and not hearing that from Nigeria is a sad commentary. It really is.
Well, Emmanuel Okonkwo, public affairs and international affairs analyst, we thank you very much indeed for coming to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much.
As always.
Thank you.